Hi, everybody. Karl Casgard from Halifax 57 Rescue. And with me today is my main man, our chief engineer for the Halifax bomber rebuild, Scott Knox. And Scott, for thanks for joining us. And boy, we got an exciting program for our viewers and our fans. And I'm sure you're excited about it too.
Yep, there's been a lot going on at the hangar this past week. It's a milestone event for sure.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the biggest and most exciting thing to happen to the Halifax rebuild and the building up a Halifax 4 Bomber Command Museum of Canada. It's probably the biggest thing in the last 10 years. And
Definitely.
so um, I was very pleased to be part of that with our entire group of teams all over the world. We've been able to do this. So, Scott, here's the wings. We got wings from the Royal Air Force Museum, wing from the Yorkshire Air Museum, and we prepared them at Patrick Smart's business, and then we got them ready, and they were loaded up into giant C-17 in Scotland and flown on Tuesday, July 30th, all the way to Trenton, Ontario. And here you can see that C-17 coming in. And I can't say enough about the RCAF cooperation, starting with Major General Colin Keever. So, Scott, notice how everybody is in on this.
Absolutely. It was really nice to see that the RCF guys down in Trenton were willing to help out because I stayed in Arnprior and you were doing your thing down in Trenton. And I was wondering, I was a little concerned that maybe there wouldn't be enough resources at the Trenton end, but it looks like you had ample help down there. That's brilliant.
That's right, Scott. We had a great cooperation from the RCAF, right up from squadron level, right down to the ground crew. And Jacob was our public affairs officer for the arrival of the wings, and he helped us out and did all of this beautiful stuff for the arrival of the wings. And
So,
it's beautiful to watch this.
yeah, so backing up a little bit, could you tell us the story about how you came upon these two sections? Because they came from two different sources. Maybe give the viewers a bit of an idea where they came from and how you heard about
Sure. One wing from the Yorkshire Air Museum near the city of York, and the other one was in a storage hangar at the RAF Museum in Cosford up in northern England.
it. Right,
And so just the beautiful cooperation from these guys.
right.
So let's just watch some of this stuff here, and we'll see the wings being unloaded at Trenton. So this is the wing from the Yorkshire Air Museum, and it's being brought out, and it's the silver one. The other one has got war camouflage facsimile on it, and these beautiful trucks were able to bring the wings out. You can see the other wing in behind, and we've got our 18-wheeler trucks
Yeah,
doing.
those lifting trucks are amazing. That's a piece of high tech gear. Wow.
Yeah, and they can change angle from level to all kinds of angles to get that wing out. And they only had a few inches to spare on the rear door, but they were able to get everything out with no scratches. And then the two wings were taken over, as you can see, way on the far end of the ramp. And there's Uncle Karl going, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
you're looking kind of happy there.
Well, that was over a year in the making of getting these wings ready to bring them to Canada to be part of a major part of the Halifax rebuild.
Right.
So uh, this is a dream come true for all of us. And Scott, you think maybe we might save a few man hours and a little bit of money by
Yeah.
using these wings?
Yeah. I was chatting with some buddies yesterday, and we did a little back of the napkin estimate, and you're talking thousands of man hours to create these. So we're saving so much time, and honestly, one of the biggest issues with these, it's all the jigs and fixtures to make all the ribs and everything else, right? So
Yep.
we're saving not only just the fabrication of the wings themselves, but all the associated jigs and manufacturing processes that have to happen. Obviously, the cost of the material, etc. So this is, saving us thousands of dollars and thousands of man hours.
Yeah, yeah. There's one of our loadmaster guys doing a hell of a job getting the wings in as close as possible to our 18 wheelers. And you see, this is the wing that's silver in color without the camouflage. And what we had to do is because the wings were so high vertically on a flatbed trailer, they are over the 14-foot limit on the highways. So we had to actually take the wings off the truck with on their cradles. Then we had to disconnect the cradles. Here comes the other wing, and that's the one. Guess what, folks? We're taking that wing almost straight out to Nanton. It'll be in Arnprior for only a few days, but we will bring it out to Nanton to show the crowds while Scott is working on the other wing sections. And this particular wing section will be the first wing to be worked on at the Halifax rebuild shop. And Scott, Patrick Smart played with the wires on the landing lights of these wings, and the landing lights still illuminated.
Oh, good. Are they 12 volt? I guess they're 12 volt, right?
I think it's a 24 volt.
24? Okay.
And but he was playing with it, and as you could see, the wiring and the most of the structure there is in very good condition.
Right.
Maybe a few little love dents here and there, but considering all things, very little corrosion, and the structure is solid.
Yeah, we were looking closely at them yesterday, and sticking our heads in where we could, and yeah, the corrosion looked minimal. And I guess these were stored more or less inside over the last 30, 40 years. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, this one was stored inside for a longer period, and you can see that we're able to take it off the cradle, lay it down on the tires for cushioning, and we had the revelation that if we moved this wing as it's being lowered here, if we moved it up where those tarps were, up to that upper deck a notch, we could get the second wing on the one trailer.
Right.
And then we put you can see to the right, the steel cradle. We put the two cradles for the two wings on the other truck.
Right.
So we had the wings on one truck, and you'll see, folks, you're going to see a money shot here in a little while. The guys, they're beautiful loaders and organizers between the RCAF and our guys, Duff Heavy Equipment. There's Reg Duff up there, and sorry, Colin Duff.
Clint.
And he was a great organizer and logistics man, and he had his head on straight when he was operating the crane and getting the wings ready.
Yeah. Yeah, his name's Clint, by the way.
I'm sorry. I knew it was started with a C. So, yeah. Clint Duff. I'm sorry for the name change.
That's all
but
good.
Thank you, buddy. You were very talented.
Yeah, no, he's a good lad. Good lad. No, it was good that we got it done in one day. The weather participated. Everything lined up. As you said earlier, I think, in person you said, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. And thankfully, everything fit together like a puzzle, and it worked out really well. So Very glad that nothing untoward happened, and was a great success.
Yes, at any one time, one thing, a series of logistics from across the UK, across the ocean, across to Trenton, Ontario. Any one thing could have stopped us, but the stars aligned. Somebody up there likes us,
Yep.
and we were able to get these wings here. And folks, it's all for the bomber boys. We'll do anything for those guys, and especially, well, okay, Scott, I know you're going to say my dad flew Lancs, but this is for the boys that never got any credit, the Halifax boys. And there's a C-130 coming into the ramp, and we were busy hiding in the corner, loading our treasure.
Yeah, there's always a lot of potential for damage whenever you move a piece of historic equipment, or an artifact. There's always a lot of potential for damage, and thankfully, I think Clint and everyone else involved were cautious, and I think there was virtually no added damage beyond the little dings and whatnot that were already there.
That's right. And Clint and I talked about that before the wings arrived. Here, we're coming up to the money shot, folks. Here's 50 plus feet of Halifax wing coming together. And so Clint and I talked about that. And what he did was he made sure those loading straps were right on a wing rib rivet line.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that he was getting the best strength that he could for lifting with the straps.
Yeah.
And it was if somebody had offered me a beer at that point at 30 degrees Celsius out on the ramp, I might have taken him up on it, but we persevered through and were able to get the wings on. As you can see on the far right, the cradles went on the other trailer, and that opening there is for an oil cooler
Yeah,
on the wing.
that's
And
one thing. I thought that the oil cooler on the Hastings, there was another one outboard of the other engine as well, but it only on one wing, not the other. Are these two
yeah,
different marks?
yep. And so that's it in a nutshell, folks. We got more for you, so just hang on, and we'll show you some more.
Here because, in fact, my stepmother worked on the Halifax back in 1940s in England, and my son and I worked on the one in Trenton, the NA337. And when I caught on to this, I phoned up Scott, and here I am. I guess my primary reason was to get out of the house. My wife wanted me out of the house, so we decided this would be a good way to put my time in. How about?
Yeah, my father was flying Lancaster bombers, and he was killed over Germany. And I went over there, found the crash site, and I have some pieces of it, which I framed, and I have them up on the wall there.
I would highly recommend it if you have any kind of technical skills and any love of aircraft, or if you had a relative in the Air Force, this would be a great spot to spend some time and just learn some new crafts and so on.
Hi, everybody. We're here at Trenton RCAF base. Momentous day. We've got 54 feet of Halifax bomber wing. And with me today is Terry Murphy, the proud son of a distinguished Flying Cross winner with 428 Squadron in England. And Terry, now that you've seen the wing, what do you think, man?
It's quite impressive, Karl. I've really never seen parts of a Halifax before, so it's really a great thing to see it and see it on its way to Arnprior in a very short order.
Yeah. Now, I've got a photo here, Terry, a proud moment for your father, receiving the Distinguished Flying Cross.
Correct.
From the King.
Correct. Buckingham Palace.
Yeah. And how many combat trips did he do on the Halifax?
Halifax and Lancaster combined, 42.
Wow. Okay, that's great. And so I just wanted to invite you out here, Terry, so you could see that we're making progress. We're on our way to getting another Halifax for you and your father and all the families of all the airmen across Canada. And we do appreciate you coming out. And you know, I'm going to show you the wing here in a few minutes, but it was just that we felt that because we knew how proud you were of your father and his service.
Very.
A lot of it on the Halifax, which is normal for RCAF Canadians, that we could be here today, and now this wing will go into our Halifax. So
excellent. And
yeah.
I thank you very much, Karl, for inviting me. This means a lot to myself.
Sure. Well, I knew that you were a keen follower of our rebuild, and so we'll be able to get the people across Canada to take notice of us, and let's make sure that the Halifax veterans are never forgotten.
Correct. Correct. 110%. Correct.
Okay. Great. Well, thanks for coming out, Terry. I know it's a hot day, but I thought you would like to see a hot item called Halifax Wings Arrive from Scotland into Canada.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, it's quite an afternoon.
Good.
I just wish it wasn't so bloody hot.
Yes, I know. But we'll do the best we can, and let's keep rolling and get a Halifax together.
I hope I'm alive when the Halifax that's going to be put together in Arnprior. I hope I'm alive to see it completed.
Sure. That's great. Well, thanks for coming out.
And as before we wrap this up, before I leave you, I'm going to give you a sizable donation for Halifax Rescue today.
Oh, cool. Well, bless you for thinking of us, and let's hope more people across Canada will support us as we build up this Halifax.
Correct.
So, thanks again.
You're more than welcome. Thank you, Karl. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
Now, do you think what we're doing is important for education for kids in the future?
Yes, I certainly do.
Why?
I just wish that children of, we'll say, high school age were, a little more involved and a little more interested in what went on 39 to 45, because we cannot forget what went on in World War II. We do not want a repetition of 39 to 45 ever again.
We are at Arnprior, and the wings have safely arrived, and Scott, you had your crew ready with all the equipment, and you didn't need my help much. I got it part of the way, and then you guys are going to save it, fix it, and do all the best that you can with it.
Yes, the wing tag team, let's call it that. Yeah, no, the unloading went fairly well. I had to liberate some dollies from around the shop. I had to scramble. We weren't exactly sure whether or not Clint would be able to reach in with his boom into the hangar and drop the wings in the hangar. So in the end, we had to get these dollies sorted out. It's funny, they're large constructions. These are large pieces of equipment, but once they're on the dollies, they were pretty easy to push around. I think they only weigh around 1,800 and 1,900 pounds. Is that right?
Yeah, it's about 1,800 pounds. The cradles that we built, thanks to Patrick Smart, they were beautiful for shipping. But once we get to our final destination, which is for now Knox Tech at Arnprior Airport, at least we got the babies home, and now we can add the precious items to our airframe and to your center section and all the other good airframe pieces that you've got. And remember, buddy, I got another 900 pounds of Halifax parts coming from England in September for you.
We're running out of space, man. By the way, I should point out that the hangar that is shown here is actually not our hangar. This is the gentleman that's behind me there. That's Lindsay. He's from Turling Construction. So they were kind enough to offer some space in their hangar as temporary space until we can get another hangar sorted out for a bit longer. Now, this wing section here is the one that's going to be going out to Alberta shortly. So we didn't bother mounting this back in the cradle. We'll leave it out of the cradle for now. Sure. And whenever you're ready, we'll load this up on a flatbed and send it out west.
Sure. We're having such beautiful cooperation from everybody. And Arnprior has taken us to heart. And there's considerable interest in the town of Arnprior. They're saying, holy smokers, we got a World War II bomber being rebuilt at the Arnprior Airport. So we're getting very good support all around from everybody. And here's our all-star Clint putting the other wing back onto the shipping cradle. And he knew how to handle our babies so that they didn't get scuffed or damaged. And he's a good stick handler when it comes to that crane.
So folks might be wondering, why are we bothering putting this back in the cradle? Well, because while this wing is on the field, we may need to be able to move it around. Now, the cradles are designed to be used with a forklift, right? So if we need to move from one hangar to another or into our fabrication shop, we can do it easily. There's a couple of forklifts available on the field. So that's why we're putting this wing back into the cradle, so that we can move it around until such time as we can start to work on it. And people may be wondering, well, what do you need to do to it? Well, obviously there's some minor hanger rash on the wing that we need to repair. And another thing is that we may need to reconstruct that inboard section where the 6 and the 8 are there on the wing. In the Halifax, there's an engine nacelle there. And so we may have to rebuild quite a significant part of that wing. So that's something that's going to take some effort, and we'll have to set aside some space in the shop for that.
Sure. Now, Scott, I don't know if folks saw it, but we have that one, not two. We only have one 4-foot wingtip that goes on the end of the wing. And so I hope you have strong fingers. Anyways, we have one wingtip that goes on the left-hand wing, and we have another wingtip. And here's Karl signing off on a happy day. Okay, it's a great day here. We're here at the Arnprior Airport at the rebuild shop. The guys are reassembling the one of the wings on the shipping cradle, and the Air Force RCAF brought them all the way across the Atlantic for us today to Trenton. Then we spent 2 or 3 hours unloading the wings from the C-17 and putting it on the flatbed trucks. Then we drove 3 hours to get here to the Arnprior Airport, and now we're unloading the wings. And you don't find 54 feet of Halifax wing in Cracker Jack boxes. We've done a great job, our team, to get them here from England to Scotland, to Trenton, to Arnprior. And now we'll start working with them and rebuilding them and adding them to the Halifax. It's over 30% of a Halifax has been added to our bomber restoration today, July 30th, 2024. So a double, triple thumbs up for today for everybody. Folks, I've done a lot of research on all the bomber boys in World War II, and Canada had such a huge contribution. And the aircraft that they used the most in the Canadian squadrons was the Halifax. And we lost over 10,800 young Canadians that never had a chance to live a full life. They paid with their lives for our freedom. So if I've got to go to the craziest corners of the world to find Halifaxes, so Scott Knox and his magicians can transform it back into that bomber that represents the sacrifice and the freedom we have today, then I'm going to do it. And it's, we leave no Halifax behind.
And you know what? It's not only about just guys working at the hangar. It's all the other effort as well, whether it's the videos or the website or social media, content development. You know, we need to bring some other players on board that'll help us with some of these other aspects as well. So it's not just about working at the shop. It's about finding the parts like you are, liaising with different agencies, you know, governments, other organizations, museums. There's so much work that goes on, and it's not just about drilling rivets, you know, or you know, bucking rivets. It's about all that other work that goes on behind. And hats off to you for finding these parts. As you said earlier, these are significant contributions to the project. And I think it starts to, it gets that snowball going, right? The more we do, the more we collect, the more we build, the more support we get, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, amen, brother. And so everybody's doing their bit. And folks, you got to remember, if you think we got these wings for free and it didn't cost any money, you're wrong. I spent almost $10,000 in 1 week last week. And our bank accounts are getting a little bit low, but you can see that we're worthy. You know that we have our Bomber Command veterans' reputation to preserve and to honor. And we're going to keep doing this come heck or high water. And we need your help. We need your donations. And so just whatever you can do would be greatly appreciated. You know where to go to find us. Fundraiser 417-498. Just do a simple Google search,
right,
and we can give you a tax receipt and keep us going. And I guess the bottom line is your freedom came from these guys flying these bombers, and we are not going to let them down. And we're going to build another Halifax for Canada. So, Scott, thanks for coming on board today. And we hope that you folks will follow us, join us, share our story, and just keep us alive.
Take care, Carl. Thanks so much.
Okay, thanks, buddy. See you soon. Bye-bye, folks.